Hurricane Florence is starting to make her pass through western North Carolina. What better time to be out working on the bikes? So the hurricane's just now starting to push all that weather to western North Carolina. You can see right now it's pretty light, just a little bit of a breeze. We've had a few heavy gusts, nothing too bad. The rain's been heavy and light going back and forth. We're just now starting to get the edge of the storm. It's not really supposed to get bad until later tonight, early morning through tomorrow. But you can see we've already had quite a bit of rain just off what's coming in. You can see the water collecting out here where I normally back the bikes out. So I'm going to keep both of them in. We're going to throw the fairings on the Ninja 650 here and get those things fitted up, show you what I've done to it so far. I have I changed out the headlights to LEDs, all the corner markers. I got the two main upper cowling halves together. I'll show you how those bolt together, and then we'll throw the rest on and see what she looks like. For you guys that follow me on Instagram, you've already gotten a sneak peek of how it looks with everything put on there. Well, almost everything. So let's jump on it, throw these fairings on. Okay, so I've got the fairings completely put together. The upper cowl halves are reattached to the headlight assembly here. So it's 4 bolts to put the upper cowl halves to the light assembly. You've got upper, lower, and then you also use the mirror mounts to put the two halves together. It attaches into the gauge cluster. So once all that's bolted together, both of the upper cowls are assembled and pretty much ready to put on the bike with the 3 upper bolts. And we're going to do that in just a second. But first, what I went and did here was I changed out all of my bulbs to LEDs. I used LED headlights. They're H7s. I can't remember the name of the brand I used. I bought one set months ago, Hikari. They do not fit well into the headlight assembly. The heat sink and the fan is way too large to actually get the spring to attach. So I ended up going with another brand, Tech something. I'll put a link below. Here's a picture. But those are what I used. They have the driver built into the fan assembly, so the whole thing fits down in there, no driver. Then you have these 2 cables that plug directly into your factory wiring harness. But I'll pull one of these off here, one of my dust boots. I just flipped them inside out to give a little more head space. But that's what it looks like. Fits perfectly in there. The spring fits around. I powered them up, checked them, made sure they worked okay. Everything was great. So, give me a little bit more light, a lot more visibility in traffic. And I know people are going to say, hey, LEDs don't give the right light pattern. I really don't care. I want to blind people. I want them to see me coming. So, whatever. If you're worried about a car getting blinded, darting across 5 lanes of traffic, they're probably not even going to see you anyway because they have their cell phone in front of their face. So I'm not worried about them getting a little bit of light in their eye. Let's see, I also changed out corner markers from the factory. I put in smoked ones. They're going to look pretty trick on this thing. But other than that, let's see, this is factory gauge, factory trim here that was on the bike when I recovered it. So these are the fairings that I ordered. Everything is Kawasaki OEM. This bike, other than of course the bulbs, all the body parts on this bike are 100% factory. But now what we're going to do is pick this assembly up, set it onto the bike, and put the center bolt in to hold it all. And then we'll go around, pop everything in, and tighten her down. Okay, so now what we're going to do is pick the front fairing assembly up, set it right onto the bike, work it around the radiator and the coolant reservoir, slide it right on, and we're going to put this center bolt in place. I have the assembly on my little chair that I use in here when I'm writing programs or messing with the ECU on the bike. So the fairings fit perfectly around this thing. Worked out nice. So here's the whole front assembly. And we're just going to walk it straight onto the bike. try to work the wiring for the headlights around. Make sure they're clear. And once you have it balanced on this front neck, one hand balances. I've got the, I believe that's an 8mm. No, it's actually 10mm. So I've got the 10mm bolt. We're going to put one right into the middle. Get it started. Everything's in place. And we'll take the other two. So now we're going to tighten all of them down. Middle one first. You don't want to over tighten, just good and snug. That's it. Okay, so now we're going to go around each side and snap in the plastic pieces into the rubber grommets that are on the frame. We're just going to push them in. So you've got it on, you've got the 3 bolts up here, you've got little pegs on the back side of the fairings that go into the grommets. They go into the side. The trim piece goes into the top one. Let's see. So we're just going to pick up, push it in place. And then there's also a couple bolts that go in right here. And there's also one right here. So let me grab those. All right, so we got this here. I had bought one of those universal fairing bolt kits. Which I am expected to be extremely busy. Starting probably late tonight, tomorrow, when this thing actually comes through. If we get as much rain and wind as they expect, even though it's died down, it's just moving so slow, it's just going to flood the hell out of us. We're going to have power out all over the place. Okay, those bolts are in, pressed in. That's good and firm and tight. Ooh, boy, those smoke lenses look good. They blend right in with this ebony. I like it. Okay, so now we're going to repeat and do the same thing on the other side. Snap that in, 2 bolts. Then we'll start putting in the well nuts and putting the little trim pieces on, and then work on putting the lowers. Now we're going to put this side trim piece in. First, we need to put a well nut into the main upper cowl section here where this hollow hole is. There we are. And now we're going to take our side piece. This thing has a grommet in the frame here and there. We're going to slide it in from the rear, stick it into the bottom, and then pop it in there and put our little bolt in. Just slip it in place. Got that one in, and the upper. And there's 2 little inserts that kind of need to line up. You just want to snug those up. So we got a good firm fit on that one. And again, rinse and repeat on the other side. So now we're down to the lower fairings. What we're going to do is put 3 well nuts in, just like this one right here. 1, 2, 3. And we will put them up in, and there's 3 holes, 1, 2, 3 in the upper cowl half. We'll line this up. There's 2 tabs. One goes here, one goes here. And then we'll thread our bolts in, get that started. And then you'll see you've got an open hole here where it bolts to the lower frame below the generator housing. So just push your 3 well nuts in. And all of the bolts that hold the fairings on, except for the 3 upper 10mm, all of these are 4 and 5mm Allens. All right, So if you see, hopefully you can on this view, we got a tab here and a tab here. We're going to lock those two tabs into the two open slots on the lower. Just tilt it out at an angle, get your tabs lined up, and rotate into place, and just gently work her up in there. And these don't have to be super tight, you just want them snugged up really well. Okay, so now we've got to throw one down here on the bottom, and the one bolt goes here in the back. Snug that down, and there we are, everything's nice and sturdy. So again, I'm going to go to the other side, put that lower on, and then I'll show you how to clamshell the bottom pieces together. They're actually slotted, they're finger jointed. So I'll do that, and then we'll fasten the middle. And this rain's pretty steady. I left the door open here just so y'all could see if it really starts getting windy or heavy downpour. We're not supposed to get any of that until later, so. Lovely. Oh, also guys, here's something cool that I picked up. Again, if you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen these, but I got stickers. Hey, stickers! So I got a couple small ones, and then I got a few large ones. And the large one is going somewhere special. But I don't know, what do you think? Instead of Ninja, the channel logo? Maybe right there? What do you guys think? Let me know, drop some comments. The wind's really starting to pick up now. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. Yeah, it's going to get real interesting here in the next day. I'm going to be busy as hell. But anyway, once you have the side pieces assembled on the lower halves, underneath here they're finger jointed. They interlock. You've got a hole in the front here and two on the bottom, one at the front and one at the rear. Basically, you just use the little push rivets, plastic push pop thingies. And to release those, you push them inward. Push the center in, then you can pull them out of your plastics. And then to reset them, just simply push by hand, just like that. So we're going to stick these in and push the pop into the center position. And there you are. Fairings are all in place and reattached to the bike. All you have left to do now is put the little trim pieces on, and they just use the little pop rivets as well. Just barely have clearance on that exhaust. And what else I painted? Since I had all that paint, I went ahead and did the chain guard. I even painted the starter solenoid. And also my Moto Dynamic integrated tail light. Painted this shroud. So now what we'll do is pop in a couple well nuts here and here. So now we'll go through and get our speedometer hooked back in. Just flip your little rubber shroud backwards. Plug it in and get that rubber seated back. Okay, so now we got to snap on our meter cowl, which is this. And I painted this bad boy as well. I painted every trim piece on this bike. So that piece goes in, snaps on, and then you use two of the little plastic rivets to hold that in place. There we go. That's not going anywhere. We could go ahead and put the windscreen on, But I have something a little special here. Little red outline logo for the Ride Rehab. You see a little bit of white trim, that's just the paper backing. But I don't know. I need some opinions. What do you guys think? I don't know about the sides. Maybe the sides and not this. Maybe this and not the sides. Put Ninja back on the sides. Come on guys, I need some comments. How should I put stickers on this? I've also got a few other ones. So I've also got my MZS stickers that'll probably go either on the swing arm or the lower half of the fairings. And I also have Tech Spec, which are the tank grips that I put on there, which those things are super awesome. I'm gonna get a set for the 650, the Z650 over here too. But I don't know. Leave me some feedback. Where should we put stickers, or should we not put stickers? Should we just leave it jet, plain, black, nothing on there? So we've got big logo, we've got branding stickers from the various manufacturers that I got parts from, small logo. Leave me some feedback, guys. I need to know what you think will look best on this bike. Give me your feedback. Again, if you've seen on my Instagram, if you follow me on that, you saw I posted a picture of a new shock assembly and a new spring and some weird contraption that I had this in. I got a different spring with a different spring rate to go on. It's just a little bit lighter than the factory to compensate for me being, well, not a real big guy. The thing that I rigged up was a homemade spring compression tool so I could compress the spring off of the shock, get the retaining washer out, release it, put the new one on, so on and so forth. And how I did that was I bought one off of eBay and basically just disassembled the thing, got a new spring, and put that back together. The factory one's still on this bike, but we're going to be taking that off, and I'm going to show you how to do that. I'll show you what kind of little contraption I built to compress and get the spring off safely, and without also taking off this nice red finish, which is going to match all of our other little trim on the bike. Just make things pop a little bit more. So that's coming up soon, and hopefully I'll get through this bad weather and not have to be out in it too awful much tomorrow. But until next time, ride safe.